We would like to start the Foreign Minister IWAYA's press conference. Minister, please. Good afternoon. At the outset of the meeting, I would like to make a report to you. From 25th to 26th of this month, I myself participated in G7 Foreign Ministers meeting for the first time as minister. In this meeting, as the division and conflicts are intensifying in the current international society, the leaders, ministers repeatedly emphasized that the security environment in Europe and that of Indo-Pacific are becoming more and more inseparable. This has been repeatedly emphasized, and we confirmed that the importance of maintaining G7 unity. Also, we agreed with foreign ministers of invited countries and also with international communities partners. It is important and necessary for G7 to continue to advance collaboration with all these partners. Furthermore, through bilateral meetings with foreign ministers, I actually had many such meetings, and I was able to build a relationship of trust at the personal level, which will lead to further cooperation in the future. I think this has become a very valuable asset for me. I will leverage that discussion this time and continue to engage in robust Japan's diplomacy going forward. Also, until today, over the past 3 days at the Foreign Ministry, we have been having a meeting of African ambassadors meeting with the presence of African ambassadors to Japan. We have been discussing the diplomatic efforts in a broad manner related to Africa. In August next year in Yokohama, TICAT 9 will be held. We are going to leverage the discussion that was held at the ambassadors meeting. We are going to prepare for the conference to make TICAT 9 as an opportunity that can create innovative solutions to problems we face jointly with Africa.
Lastly, from yesterday, extraordinary diet session began. As the security environment surrounding Japan is becoming increasingly severe, in order to promote diplomatic efforts within and outside of Japan, it is indispensable to have the understanding and support of the Diet and national public. Beyond opposition and the ruling parties' boundaries, we need to create a common recognition and to be committed with the all-out effort to diplomacy. We would like to respond steadfastly to the Diet discussions. That is all from me at the outset. If you have any questions, please raise your hand and please proceed to the microphone, identify your name and affiliation and ask question. NHK, Yonezu-san, please. Yonezu from NHK. In relation to the extraordinary diet section, trying to incorporate the NDP opposition party policies and to have the consideration for the management of the diet session, I believe there are difficulties, but how are you planning to proceed?
As I said in the beginning, the security environment surrounding Japan is becoming more and more challenging. Against this backdrop, needless to say, in order to pursue our foreign policy, we need to have understanding and support of the people and their representatives, namely the Diet members. I think that is indeed necessary. To start with, regarding diplomacy and security, we would like to have a cross-party, broad, common understanding. I think that is very important to start with. Since we are minority government, currently, in view of that situation, that is indeed or even more necessary. That is to say, we have to have a broad-based common understanding across parties. I think we have to make effort to that end. Based on that way of thinking, going forward, I would like to engage in discussions at the Diet going forward. Next question, please. Kyodo Ayukawa-san. Thank you very much. Kyodo News, Ayukawa. I have a question regarding Sino-Japan relationship. Since you became the minister, during the press conferences, you said you want to meet with Foreign Minister Wang Yi of China as quickly as possible to have a candid dialogue. At the end of December, your visit to China is reported by some media. And between Japan and China, the more active military activities on the side of China, and also resumption of the fishery products, that issue, and also protection of Japanese nationals and detention of Japanese nationals, and also more recently for Japanese citizens, China resumed visa waiver program for short-term stay. When you visit China, what kind of results would you like to achieve?
Between China, as you pointed out, we have various issues. Because we have issues, we need to continue to have dialogues. In Peru, when there was Japan-China summit meeting, the mutual visit of foreign ministers, and along with that, Japan-China high-level personnel and cultural exchange dialogues and economic dialogues need to be achieved at appropriate timing, and to make adjustment to achieve that. That is being discussed on the extension of the summit meeting. So from myself, with my counterpart, meet with Minister Wang Yi, we would like to continue to have the dialogues with him. As was introduced, for the short-term visa resumption, that is being achieved, but there are still remaining challenges. So for those challenges, we would like to continue to have further discussion, and in the larger context, as was affirmed in the summit meeting, mutually beneficial relationship based on common strategic interest will be promoted in comprehensive manner. So that will include security, diplomacy, and economy. In various areas, communication will be even more strengthened, and along that line, the concerns will be reduced and try to be resolved. Those are the targets that we would like to deepen the discussion with Minister Wang. Ms. Yonezu from NHK for the next question. As a follow-up question, China's waiver program for short-term visa for Japanese and for the resumption of such a short-stay visa exemption. During this period, as MOFA, for a long time, you had interaction with China, and now that this is achieved, so what is your perception? And for the increased activity, what is your expectation?
Yes, once again, the good, favorable bilateral relationship needs to be built. For that purpose, I think the exchange of people is very important. I think that is indispensable. Therefore, the short-term stayers visa waiver program resumption On a repeated basis, we have been requesting Chinese side to resume visa waiver program. And finally, as of 30th of November, namely tomorrow, this exemption program will be resumed. So thanks to this, the exchange of peoples between the two countries will be bolstered and encouraged, and also economic exchange is expected to be even more active. That is indeed what I hope. And that would lead to further mutual understanding between Japan and China. So I am hopeful on that. Mainichi Shimbun Kim-san. Mainichi Kim is my name. At the beginning, you talked about TCAD meeting. TCAD. I have a question on TCAD. It will be held next year. And since the beginning of TCAD, it's been more than 30 years. And steadfastly, Japan has been supporting Africa. In recent years, the COVID-19, at that time, summit-level participation has declined due to the pandemic. And also in Africa, China and Russia, or particularly China's presence, is increasing in Africa. Now, next year's TCAD, for the success of this meeting, once again, could you explain what kind of preparations or ambitions you have for the meeting?
Yes, about TCAD. Ahead of the other nations, Japan initiated this initiative. But at the time of COVID, due to unavoidable reasons, it was held in irregular manner. But next year, we would like to have the full-fledged program. Japan's support and cooperation until now is receiving a high credit up to now, I believe, and Japan's support is very meticulous and very sincere. That kind of evaluation is given. So what we have accumulated so far, and based on that, along with the current status in Africa, we would like to consider and prepare for next year's TCAD as to what the next step would be. On the other hand, similar initiatives are, as you know, being implemented by the other countries. And because of that, all the African nations will get together. And is the current approach appropriate? Not only from our side, but from the African nations, we are hearing that there are differences of opinions. So by hearing their comments, we would also like to consider the next round of Africa's approach. Next question, please. Aikawa-san from Kyodo News. Thank you. Ayukawa from Kyodo News. Once again, going back to Japan-China relations, today in China, from the top management of Komyo Nippo, and due to the espionage, it seems like this person is questioned for espionage for handing over the information to Japanese. And 2 years ago, there was a detention, and there was strong opposition by the Japanese government back then. And this person was detained at that time. In the sentence, Japan's Information Authority is designated as the spy institution, And it seems like multiple names of the Japanese names are pointed out, and they are rendered in the judgment as they are the spies in that institutions. Do you have any perception from the Japanese government?
The point you raised, yes, to some extent, I am aware of that, according to the media, but there are some information you gave me for the first time, which I didn't know. At this point in time, as the government of Japan, there is nothing to comment. In any case, the diplomatic activities conducted at the diplomatic missions abroad are legitimate activities conducted by our diplomats. Next question, please. Nikkei. Baba, Nikkei. I would like to ask you a question about LDP's discussion yesterday, a special committee on Asian security. This meeting met for the first time. Asian version of NATO and also revision of SOFA is going to be discussed with a view of the resumption of Trump administration. And the proposal will be made to Prime Minister. As a foreign minister, what kind of expectations do you have?
From the Prime Minister to the party, the future national security policies, he would like to consider how to proceed. That kind of instruction is given, and based on that, the discussion within the party began. I believe that is the case. The discussion just started. So I would like to reserve making detailed comments, but the larger security framework, how should that be established within this region, and U.S.-Japan alliance, how should that be in the future? Basically, around those topics, first of all, we would like to discuss thoroughly within the party, and that is my expectation. And as we listen to what is being discussed, prepare for the next policy. That is something we would like to use as a reference. Next question, please. IWJ, please. Please be succinct in your question. IWJ, Hamamoto. US DOJ for the RR business in Japan, BIT Mining Limited, for the violation of FCPA, there was a prosecution. Mr. Ban, from 2017 to 2019, over 2 years, has bribed $1.9 million to multiple Diet members, and he seems to be mentioning that Minister IWAYA is included. Minister has negated that at that time, and it is considered as already passing the statute of the limitation in Japan is already completed, but in the United States, it is not yet finished, and it seems like there is a possibility that Minister IWAYA may become the suspect for bribery, and you have many travels. As the Minister of Foreign Affairs, do you think you will be able to fulfill your responsibilities?
Yes, first of all, I would like to say very clearly at the beginning, this is a thing of the past. On the 4th of January in 2020, I gave a press conference and I said the following, that I would never receive money from a Chinese company, and there is no fact. And also, I have never been spied by Chinese company, and I myself do not have any relationship or contacts with the Chinese company reported. And also, in terms of political funds control law, I have never received a donation from a foreign company. And that has been already clearly explained from me to exhaust all the questions in the press conference that I mentioned earlier. Therefore, there is no suspicion that you mentioned. Suspicion has been cleared. I am confident. Any other questions? If not, this concludes the press conference. Thank you very much.